Hey, listen to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. I'm excited tonight because we got a lot to talk about. We got the Loudon Classic. We got MotoAmerica coming up. We got MotoGP coming up. I'm not quite sure what the order is going to be, but I'm pretty sure a few people might be out of order for sure. But before I bring the fellas on, I want to thank the listeners, the subscribers, the folks commenting, the folks even cussing us out and telling us what we are explicitly. I still appreciate you for sure, and because we're gonna keep going. So I hope you have the same stamina, no doubt there. I want to thank Woodcraft. Use the Rexy code for Woodcraft. You should spend over $100. You get a free T-shirt. It's always nice to get free things. It's always nice to get Woodcraft parts. I've used them. I've crashed them. I've reused them. They're good parts to have. They're on my bikes. So definitely go to Woodcraft and do what you got to do if you're at the track or on the streets. If your bike is uncomfortable, they got clip-ons that they can adjust and all that fun stuff. So be curious, go to the website, check them out. And if you're going to spend some money, just mention Rexy. And good things should happen. Not always, but should happen. Also, Pearly Tire. I like them. I use them on my street bikes. I use them on my race bikes. They're pretty sticky. You get 10% off if you're a racer or if you go to the track. Or if you're one of those folks that use track tires on the street, I don't recommend it. But if you're going to do it, you might as well save 10% of your bill. It's not going to cover everything. Mark 10 Motorsport. Get hooked up with some Pirelli tires. Have some fun. With no further ado, let's bring the gang in one at a time. Very excited. Jordan, welcome to the show. I see you got the Yamaha. And so I know how you're feeling tonight.
Hey, Rex. Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, Yamaha till I die. I always got to wrap them. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, man, you got a lot of work done on that R1, man. It's pretty impressive. The R1M.
The M. Don't forget the M, baby. Yeah, yeah, but like I said a while ago, that's my dream bike. So I've got a bunch of goodies in it, and I'm just gonna keep going and see how far I can go with it.
That's what's up, man. That's how I feel about my V4, man. So very excited. Lots happened this past weekend. Lots always going to happen every day. But you must be excited for this weekend to come too.
Yes, sir. Glad to have all the riders back on track, and I'm glad for it all.
Nice. That's what's up. Harry, man, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Oh man, just doing good, man. Enjoying Texas weather, man. It's blazing hot here, but I'm enjoying it. Like, I don't spend too much time out there, but I'm gonna get it in. Like, and I'm probably gonna ride my motorcycle later on too. So the sun will be down, the temperature be perfect.
Yeah, man, I do enjoy the night riding down here because, that's only riding you can enjoy when it's like 99 degrees, 115 if you're on a bike.
Especially a Ducati.
So I am definitely leaning into the evening and night riding.
Yeah.
So no doubt, man. Excited to talk about what's coming and what has happened. A lot of craziness. I'll be curious to hear your opinion on all the commotions at the last round at MotoGP with the two-piece, no biscuit. So we'll see, man. Let's get Eli in the building. Eli, man, welcome back to the show. You're no strangers to the Be Forever Cool podcast. You're one of the originals, OG, even though you're a young dude. Racing MotoAmerica, racing Loudon, racing flat track. Did I miss anything? Anything that you can race, you race. You're probably racing old ladies like I used to do to the store.
Yes, sir. Anything on two wheels, I'll be on. It's happy to be back. I do remember I was thinking about it earlier today. It was like 2021. We were in your trailer doing that podcast. Good times. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be back. We had a good weekend at Loudon. So yeah, we're just going to talk about some stuff about that and talk about some controversy that happened last weekend.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure, man. That's what's up. I mean, I think that's the thing to start with. Let's talk about Loudon Classic. I think Jordan, you're close to that. Because you're in New England, no disparity there, Harry-O. But it's Laconia Bike Week up this way and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the area. I was hoping to be, like I said, off camera and on camera. I was hoping to be there, but it just didn't work out. We'll start with Eli, man. I mean, I know that you raced the classic. You've been. I met you at Loudon, so you've been racing there for a little bit. Like, what was the mindset coming into the weekend? Because I'm pretty sure, like all of us, we look back on the ride home how the weekend was, and the more medallions you have, the broader the smile. So, like, what was your approach to the weekend, man?
Well, I haven't rode a big bike since March at Daytona. So, I haven't been to Loudon since August of last year. So coming into the weekend, it's like, getting my feet wet again, getting back on the track. And, Loudon's its own animal. It's been, as I said, 10 months. So, I know how that first session of the year at Loudon always goes. Either you feel really good and you look down at lap timer and you're 6 seconds off your best, or you can be feeling like crap and still be 6 seconds off your pace. So first sessions at Loudon are always hard. So we really didn't have that chance on Wednesday to go ride when the weather was good, just because, we're doing a lot of the coaching on Wednesday, and Thursday was the main of the open practice and the pro practice. And obviously it rained all day then, so you didn't really get much. So, hopping on the 660 that we built for our MotoAmerica team, that was my first time on it. That was our first time ever working on one. So it's like we're trying to cram everything into 2 days, and the weather didn't cooperate for one of them. So, the most important day is kind of sucks looking back at that. But coming into the weekend, it was kind of, I don't know. There wasn't much confidence, just because in the years past I've came in knowing that I can do really well. And as I said in the other podcast, I come in with so much confidence and get shit on. So I'm trying not to have that happen again. And obviously, I haven't done bad.
If memory serves correct, I mean, it was to your own doing. It's not like other people beat you.
Exactly. It's like, someone, last year was a tough one. We had a mechanical on one of the bikes that, again, that was our second weekend on the bike. We didn't know anything about, the KTMs having clutch problems on the 890s. So we figured that out, but that was after the classic. Then, in the classic race last year, Scott getting taken out is just kind of it's a shitty situation, but it happens. So yeah, coming into the year, especially on the 660, it's the same type of situation I was in last year. So I actually, funny enough, before 20 minutes before the class, up until then, 20 minutes before the classic, I wasn't even going to race it. I qualified for it, but I wasn't going to race it. So just because I didn't want to be in that 10th place battle, which is obviously, as the year's gone on, the purse has kind of gotten a little smaller. So it's $2,400 for 10th, which is, don't get me wrong, it's great money, but for the risk I would have to take and how hard I have to ride just to struggle and battle just to get 10th because I'm so underpowered, it wasn't worth it for me.
Okay, I can see that. So then I mean, how many podiums did you get on? And it seems like let's talk about that, because I don't think it was just one race you raced this weekend.
No, so I wasn't planning on doing the two. I wasn't planning on racing Friday. I was kind of waiting and seeing how I was just going to wait to qualifying because we had the 2 days of riding before then. And turned out I was just, because of the weather, I went out, did 2 of the local club races, and we had the pro practice at night. But yeah, I don't know whose idea it was, probably my dad's, most likely mine, but I did all 4 pro races on Saturday. So I did the Super Hooligan race, I did the 500 race, the Loudon Classic, then the Thunder Bike race.
Wow.
And I think the math was 65 race laps, I think it was, on Saturday.
Wow. And tell the folks what the positions you finished in.
So Super Hooligan, I was on the Duke 790, so again, another butter knife to a gunfight. I finished 6th, I think, there. 500 race, I won that race. The Loudon Classic, I made history, became the first ever lightweight twin to become to podium the Loudon Classic in the 103 years. And then in the Thunder Bike race, I finished second.
Nice.
Oh, that's what's up.
Right. So do you park the trailer until Monday morning to drive back because you're having so much fun? It's a pretty amazing weekend, man.
I wish. It was like Saturday night was like, it was more low key than other years. Like,
Okay.
I don't even know. I've had more parties at Loudon for random reasons, and I could make history and nothing. I just have a drink or two and I go to bed.
Well,
So
listen,
I think
man.
it was more of just like just having a chill weekend. That's kind of how it was. It's I think I was more emotionally drained, just as I was saying, because I didn't know I was racing the Loudon Classic till 20 minutes before the race.
Right.
When we saw the skies start opening up and rain coming down, it's like, you know, you have that light rain where it's kind of staying on the pavement, but it's like not much. So you're like, there's still no point. We were telling other teams. Actually, Robertino Pietri was pitted next to us, so we're like, we'll help you guys. Don't worry. I won't race. I'll help you guys. You know, if we do tire changes and stuff. And then the skies opened up and downpoured, and me and my dad looked at each other, started running back to our pit, swapping tires, making sure we can get out there in time. Because I looked at my dad, I was like, dude, if it rains, I can win this. I know I can. I started 18th on the grid and came across the line on the first lap in second and passed for the lead into sixth. And by the time we got in sixth all the way to turn 2, I already had about 2.5 second lead. And then they threw a red flag, and that kind of threw a wrench in the plans, just because that allowed us that extra 5-6 minutes for the track to dry up at the end of the race, where that's where I was gaining on everyone. I was pulling from Tyler Scott and Brandon. I had the pace to pull from them in the complete drench track, but once it started drying up, that's where, you know, don't get me wrong, they're riding their asses off and they're unbelievable riders. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's kind of where the 750, 660 battle started kind of fading away, and they could use a little bit more power because they can actually put it down now.
Right. Nice. I mean, pretty impressive, man. And I'm going to circle back to. I'm pretty sure you guys had a conversation after the race. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts, man, about the Loudon Classic? It's one of the oldest racing series in the country. It in the last few years, the purse has gotten to a point where we do see some national and some international riders show up and try to do the daggone thing. What are your thoughts, man, being up that way?
Oh man, I definitely wanted to get out there this way or this year. Is something I definitely wanted to see. I came back from a vacation on a cruise ship, so I own an HVAC company. Came back, my phone was chock-a-block full, and I've been in addicts ever since. So my hopes and dreams of going to New Hampshire for a little getaway was taken away from me. But oh man, it's an amazing spectacle, and it's good to see. You know, I like to see it get bigger and bigger every year. Anything two wheels related, especially in Mass, that I'm 100% for. So, man, it's crazy to see, the gentleman say he did so many races or so many race laps. That's a testament to your physique. Because oh man, I'll do about half a race and I'm ready for the bed. So that's a lot of race laps, my man. My hat goes off to you.
You like you, man.
Yeah, there's been no training going on. That's the hard part. I was terrified of that coming in the weekend just for that reason. I was like, man, I haven't done anything. I've been sitting in my chair doing nothing in Florida. When I come home, I do like one supermoto race. I'm tired in 3 laps. I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be a long weekend.
Yeah.
Supermoto is good. It's good training. Harry, man, I know you're in Texas, but I mean, you know, Tyler Scott was up there. I believe that's who won the race. It's pretty impressive to see their qualifying time and stuff like that. You know, there's you hear of the World Moto Clash. I don't know who. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about the name. What are your thoughts, man, about these kind of events that are happening that's outside of MotoAmerica?
Oh, I love it because it brings more fans to the sport, and especially something a race like that that has a history, and it's just good for just not saying normal people that's just not professional racers that get the opportunity to rub shoulders and elbows with the professionals. Like you can't beat that. I wish they had something like that in Texas for us to do, but I followed it a little bit because it was a big gala, it was a big event, and I saw a lot of motorcycles there. I saw cycle drag there, and he was just showing the different motorcycles that was there. So, man, that's something that I'll probably be looking forward to trying to do next year, just to be around that energy because, with like-minded people that, especially like us that love motorcycles, it's just something that we just love to do, just to smell that rubber, just to see other people that lean and rocking in turns and straights.
Right. No, I feel you there. It is pretty cool to see, and I'm excited for it. Even though I'm so close, I had to miss it, which is next year. But let's talk about MotoGP. The hot topic, as I know, people want to probably brush under the rug a little bit, but let's talk about the hands-on Marshall and hear you guys' take on it. I've already given my take, so I'm not going to do it again. But we'll start with you, Eli. We all have done track day, and some of us have raced. But you've raced in MotoAmerica, you're racing a club racing, you're racing Supermoto series, flat track series. Like I said, anything on wheels, you're racing. Was that penalty too harsh of a penalty to give versus just paying some money, double long like penalty, or you're on the side of pretty much everyone just.
Yeah, no, there's no tolerance for that shit. I don't care who you are, how much money you have, how much fame you have, how good you are on a bike. Dude, these guys are volunteers. They're just out there trying to help, and it's like, it's not like it's a vintage bike that you spent millions on, and it's your baby, and they're touching it. Nah, bro, you get paid millions to ride the bike. You don't care if you crash it or not. The bike was already totaled. They're picking it up. I think he slapped him because they dropped it or something like that. Bro, you already crashed the thing. You can just run back and hop on your second bike. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. It's not the way we do it. I know all these foreigners are very, emotional, hands-on. Oh, my lights went out. And so I get it. You show your emotion. I'm the same way. I'm a very emotional rider. I ain't hitting no one. There's been multiple times where I've wanted to. I've yelled at marshals before. I've done this. I've done that. But it's like, dude, same thing. It's like Heron in the middle of the Daytona 200. You hit a cameraman. He didn't stop, drop his bike on the ground, punch the guy. No, it's the middle of a session. Get back to your job and do your thing. I mean, the fine or the whatever. I think it was suspended for the rest of the weekend. Was this punishment?
Yeah.
Yeah, there should have been a fine on top of it.
Okay.
I don't care. It's just we don't want that. We don't want that picture in our sport.
Okay. And the pressures of the championship, because it has to be getting to him, right?
It's fading out of his hands.
Yeah.
He started strong. Don't get me wrong. He started strong, but it's been slowly falling out of his hands, and it's because he's been throwing that shit on the ground 24/7.
Yeah,
from the races I've seen. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of the races lately, but I really don't think, obviously if two racers go at it, sure, put the cameras on it. But to do that to a guy that's just trying to help and pick up your bike, no, we don't do that.
No doubt. Harry, man, what are your thoughts on the incident? You saw it, man. You're a Aprilia guy. You're a Ducati guy. I'm pretty sure you got a scroll to read.
Okay, like when he crashed, I was like, okay, cool. Like, and then all of a sudden, they pulled the clutch. The engine. I heard the engine running still. Like they pulled the handlebar back. The gas was going right, and then all of a sudden, I guess he became the notorious BZ bad boy. Just came over there, just like boom, just hit the marshal right in the face. I was like, Bez, what are you doing, bro? I don't know. Like, maybe the spirit of Martine got in him or something, man. I don't know, man. Like, I was devastated. Honestly, I was devastated. But the funny thing was to me was on Sunday, I guess he gave him a signed Marco Beschicki bobblehead or something to the marshal and a hug. I'm like, bro, man, you embarrassed this guy in front of his whole family in his country. I'm just like, it was unacceptable to me. You know, I understand, like, in a high intense octane sport that we love called motorcycle racing, your adrenaline is always pumping, like, and you can't let your emotions get the best of you. I understand that he's fighting for the championship, and he was probably more upset at himself. But to take your frustration out on somebody that's probably volunteering for that, that's probably not getting paid, that just probably can't afford to probably pay to see a MotoGP race, because I'm only speaking for the guys that do it here, MotoGP, when it comes here. A majority of those guys can't afford to, go to the race. So their opportunity to see these guys is to be volunteer as a marshal. And that was just unacceptable, man. That was unacceptable. I know his parents probably ripped him for that, but I was just kind of torn because he's mentored by Valentino has never done that. And the whole country, Italy, probably
he's a rider before, not a marshal.
He's knocked some people.
He's a rider, not a marshal. But Valentino's about that life.
No,
I know he's about that life, but not to take it to that level. Him and Biaggi get into it. But man, that's kind of like that's a bystander. Like the marshal is pretty much like an extended, a higher ranking fan. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just disappointing I don't know, man. It was just disappointing for me. I was crushed because I like Bez. Like, Bez is like my favorite racer.
No, and I think from a technical, from a championship level, he lost focus. But Jordan Valentino has knocked over a chick on while he was on a scooter.
Get out the way. Like Ludacris, move out the way.
And back in the day,
I got a race to win.
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants, baby.
And back in the day, when the folks used to run on the track after the race was over,
Valentino do whatever. Then the Pope come bless him.
No,
I forgive you.
Bez could have signed the same glove and handed it to that fucking marshal and said, get bitch slapped. I mean, that's the same thing he could get him a bobblehead and a hug. I don't care. Sign the glove that you slapped him with.
So, I got a good take on it. I think.
Hang on a second, Jordan.
I think the penalty was justified. He should have got a race ban. Anything beyond that, I don't think he. Now we're splitting hairs a little bit and getting a little bit too deep into it. When the marshal picked up the bike, he did bounce that thing off the limiter, and being in the lead of the championship, you just crashed. Emotions are involved. In no way am I condoning putting hands on anybody, but that does show that the pressure is getting to Bez. Because I've met him 2-3 times in person, got multiple autographs from the guy. The nicest guy I've ever met. There's some riders. I've been VIP backstage at a lot of paddocks, and he's by far the nicest rider that I've had personal interactions with. So as soon as I didn't even notice that it happened during the race, when I found out after the fact and watched the videos, first I saw the first article, saw it online, Instagram, didn't believe it. I was like, nah, there's no way Baz put his hands on somebody. No way. Then I saw the video. I was like, come on now. I mean, he didn't punch the guy. He give him a little bitch slap after he bounced it off the limiter. Not saying, it's right in any way, shape, or form, but I think the race ban was adequate. Anything beyond then, I think we're splitting hairs a little bit. But going forward, this just shows he needs to lock the hell in, focus, because that's 50 points. One, he just got taken out by his teammate. That's 50 points. Mark goes on to win the race at a track that's kind of tailor-made for him. Now we go to a track where the Aprilias look very strong. And Iogura, man, he showed out really well. But, you know, you need to take advantage of these situations. And then, you know, he went back to, you know, earlier days in the sprints. I still, to this day, I say the same thing. Bez struggles on that soft tire. Sometimes he can throw a lap in, but over consistent laps, he likes the medium tire. He does not like the soft tire. So anytime he throws that soft tire and he has trouble and he goes down the parkway, and then they figure it out come Sunday. They didn't even have the chance. You know, he took that away. So he's got to lock in.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Rich, I got one alibi. Like I know you know, like a lot of people are harping on what Bez did, but let's just be honest. Like we've all done something that's probably hasn't been on public display for the whole world to see in our 20s. We can all be. So like all the commotion about he should stiffer fine should be done. Let's just, you know, take it personal. Like it happened, it's over with. Let's move on, and you know, just wait for Bears to win the championship.
Right. Yeah, buddy.
No, I feel you. It's tough. It's a young rookie mistake, and I think MotoGP doesn't want it to happen again. So the punishment is severe enough to not give any other riders the inclination to even think about putting their hands on another corner worker. Let's talk about Ducati, what they were able to do with the factory team. Pretty impressive. I thought so, looking at it. We'll start with Harry. What are your thoughts, man, on you know, both factory guys were able to win a race. Pecco in the sprint and Mark in the GP.
Oh yeah, man, I was so happy for Pecco to be in, to show some of his former form that he used to be in back in 2024. To see him win the sprint and then come back around and, you know, put a good performance in and lead a couple of laps, and then here come Mark. Man. You know, they call Acosta the shark, but really Mark Marquez is the shark. Once, I don't know what it is, he gets behind whoever's in front of him, and he studies their movements, and I guess he finds their points of weakness, and he attacks them just like a shark. And just to see him, all that he's been through, and I know he's not 100% at full fitness, but to put in that effort of what he did on Sunday, man, this guy's, you know, Aprilia needs to worry just a little bit. Aprilia needs to worry. They need to, you know, get their act together and be worried about Mark. Mark is a threat. Not, you know, Acosta's there, but man, to see Mark like that and to dominate like that, lap after lap, to just watch his teammate and study his movements and then win the race like that. And he wasn't even on pole. Agura was on pole. Right. You know, Mark, I don't know, like Mark never ceased to amaze me.
No doubt. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts on those boys and on the factory Ducati, man?
Chose, like I said before, there's nothing wrong with that damn Ducati, my man. Nothing wrong with the Ducati. Yeah, we can, you know, pick here, we can pick there, but come on now, it's all racing in the end. All the bikes are fast, but there's two main bikes, the Ducati and the Aprilias. Yeah, it was good to see Pecco up there. If Mark was truly that guy, where was he on Saturday when he was looking at Pecco's taillight the whole time? I mean, that's all I'm saying. So yes, Mark is a threat, you know, but I'd say Digi is more so of a threat. Except for this weekend, he was nowhere. Yeah, he was just stuck in the mud, get kind of in running his own race. I expected him to do a little bit more this weekend, but as we go forward, I expect him to, you know, show up as the strongest Ducati as he has been from the get-go. But it's always easy. It always looks good on paper. You know, you made up X amount of points and X amount of weekends. It's always a lot easier to make up those points when the championship leader isn't on the track. So you go into the next race, and the next couple of races, as we hit the break and come back, it's definitely on. It's definitely on. But I'm just saying, I think people have to cool it a little bit. They're hyping it a smidgen too much. Yes, we ran into a few tracks that Mark does very well at. Yes, he is performing well. Yes, he is injured. I have to hear every single week. Every rider's injured. I don't want to hear the damn Mark Marquez's injured story by another commentator because it's crazy. You look at all these Jorge Martin when he broke 16 ribs. You didn't hear a goddamn thing from him from a commentator, and he came back. The guy almost died, collapsed lungs and everything. Came back and was rocking and rolling. Then and then doing this thing. You didn't hear a thing. If that were Mark Marquez, you would hear it to this day about the 16 ribs. They'd have search merchandise about it. I'm just saying, let's be fair here. There's many riders with injuries. Yes, Mark is an exceptional rider. Yes, he's doing good, but I mean, there's a lot of riders with injuries. Mark is not the only.
Do you have an issue with him? Do you have an issue with Mark?
I do not have a Mark issue. I have an issue with people getting preference. When people get preference and get treated differently, that's what I have an obligation to call it out and call a spade a spade. Yes, Mark is phenomenal, but hey, there's some things about him that I will call out, and I think
he's sneaky. He is sneaky.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's sneaky.
We'll see. Listen, man, I like your take, man. I appreciate your stance, and I'm somewhat on the same page with you. I think that when I say somewhat, meaning like I think he's had a different view since his recent injuries and how he's been on camera. But before that, he was. I mean, you have to be at that level, just cutthroat, and so it's interesting to see. But you're absolutely right, man. I appreciate you, standing on business, because it shows character. That's all I can say. Let's talk about Ayagura. The boy's fast, second year. I wish he would stay with Aprilia for a little bit longer, but it seems like Yamaha factory is giving him something that he can't turn, or gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. I think Harry, you were on the show where as a saying that Ayagura can qualify better. It'll be different. What are your thoughts on how he qualified? It's, and I'll say this: when you qualify pole and you don't win a race, it's a negative, right? So,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? There is that, but at the same time, it's nice not to do the same work from like 10th place. What are your thoughts on Agura this weekend and what he's done?
Yeah, I totally agree. I wish he would have kept the lead. I wish he would have actually won, because it would have been an ending to a great weekend, especially him being on the satellite Aprilia motorcycle and to put it on pole and not take the dub, man. That was very disappointing for me as a fan of Agura. And it was just finally, it seemed like he actually put everything together for us from Saturday to Sunday, but Sunday just came up short. And and then he came on strong at the end, but it was just too late. I thought he was going to have the opportunity in lap 4 to possibly, when it was 4 laps left, I thought he was going to have the possibility to maybe challenge Mark, but it was just he couldn't get any closer. And I think if it was like maybe 3 more laps, he might have been able to, but it was just a little too late for what he gave.
Right. What are your thoughts about his comments in the press comments? Like, I sit here in the race saying, like, bro, come on. You got all these rings. Give me one.
Let me get one. Yeah. It sounds like a kid. Let me get one.
Exactly. So you know it's coming. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts on Agura? What he did this weekend, man?
It was the lap he put in was very impressive. They smashed the lap record. Just shows the testament to the riders of this day and the bikes. I think there was like 5 or 6 riders that were under the previous year's lap record. So that was amazing. But like you said, to not convert the sprint into a win or the main race into a win does show up as a negative. It does show he lacks. I think he lacks aggression. He's smooth as hell. He can maintain a tire. You only see him make one harsh overtake, probably in his kind of MotoGP career that we can kind of call out. So he's a very fair racer, but it goes to show, I think, the 2 things he has to work on. I would say a little bit of is just racecraft and just his aggression a little bit. I don't know that you see him in anytime he's in a interview or anything. He's very, the guy's just very, very serious. He's about his stuff. Doesn't kid around at all. I mean, that's not a knock on him.
He's starting to kid around, though. That's the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's starting to break the shell a little bit. And maybe at Yamaha, we'll see a whole nother Agura. One could only hope.
But right now, he's top 5 in the championship, bro.
Yeah. Oh no, he's moving and grooving. Like you said, I agree with you. I wish he stayed with Aprilia and they moved earlier and retained him.
I think so.
Because they were very good in the rider market. It seemed, but you should have locked him down early on because he's a very good talent.
Yeah, I think I think Agura and Digia, VR46 wanted to hold on to, and Trackhouse wanted to hold on to Agura. Yeah. These are 2 riders that are, they didn't have the same shine as Acosta, but they're factory riders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going that way next year. So, this season is not over. So you never know. Who knows where he's going to finish, which is pretty impressive as it is already. But let's talk about the announcements that came out today. They finally, it's like no secrets. It's like in MotoGP, they can't hold water anymore. You know what I'm saying? All the business is just out way sooner. It's like, bootlegs back in the day were getting released. By the time the movie came out, you can just say the words. But they finally announced that, 2 things. Marc Marquez he signed with Ducati factory for a couple of years, and Acosta signed for a couple of years. So I assume all the other dominoes will start to fall. What are your thoughts on the news that we already knew, but now officially we know? Let's start with you, Harry-O.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about the extension on Mark.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's like that LeBron James type thing. Like it's time for new blood, but he's still. I guess he's a racer, so he want to give his all to the end. He's crawling to the paddock. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe I would have did a 1-year contract for Mark. I don't know. I just don't really like. Mark he's a good rider, but I just don't trust his health right now.
Right.
And I don't know if I would have gave him that big of an extension, a 2-year extension, right. Especially going into the new regulations is going to be in 2027.
Right.
But, it is what it is. I mean, he's won a championship with him. And it's kind of weird to me because I would have probably tried to focus more on trying to renew Pecco versus Mark because, Pecco actually broke the drought for them and brought the championship back. Listen, and it's just kind of unfortunate. Huh? Yeah,
I'm not happy with how they treated. I think Pecco should have got re-signed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing to Pecco. In all honesty, I think he's like if he's not the most winningest Ducati, he might be the second most winningest Ducati. at the moment with 31 wins and whatever 68 whatever podiums and I'm saying 2 world titles and stuff like that. I'm not saying Marc Marquez can't win another title or 2 with Ducati. I'm not saying that. And I've been on the record for saying this. This is kind of like, they already had a good thing. And so it'll be interesting to see what Ducati does in the future as far as Marc Marquez. But what are your thoughts about Acosta getting also signed?
Oh yeah, I think I think it might be one of those situations how Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino used to have those in-house paddock battles, and I think it's going to be something like that because I think that Pedro Acosta, he's putting on last year he had an issue with Marc, and I think after he signed his contract, it's like they're trying to be like kind of bubbly buddy, but he's aggressive. He wants to win, and I think it's going to be an issue in that paddock next year with him and Marc because they have similar riding styles, and Pedro Acosta is not afraid to take a risk. He's been taking a risk on a ridiculous machine on the KTM. So I know him being on a Ducati with the prominence of what it's going to bring to him, with maybe more podiums and maybe possibly a championship, he's going to be a total different level. And I foresee him and Marc having some serious issues next year because, like I said earlier, last year they had an issue is that chitter chatter that he was saying about Marc, and Marc had an issue with that. And I just think it's going to explode in that paddock. And I don't think, what's his name, Darcy, I don't think he's going to be strong enough to hold those 2 personalities together. Right. Gigi might have to step in.
Something's going to happen. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts, man, on the announcement of the team for 2027 for Ducati?
I was surprised about the 2-year re-up by Marc, but the part that you guys are leaving out is that there's he has the clause in there that he can walk away at any time and retire and not get any sort of penalty to his name or back pay or anything. So that being in there, and the fact that Marc Marquez wanted that clause, I've said this for a while. Marc Marquez does not want Pedro Acosta in that factory team alongside him with the same mechanics, with the same everything in red with that bike in the next garage. He didn't want it for a long time, and now it's here. So I'm very excited for what next year is going to bring on the 850cc bikes with the new tires, the new regs, and you're going to have this young cat in Pedro Acosta who's naturally talented, just like Marc Marquez is. He's just been limited and held back by machinery, but good God, give him the same machinery and the same shot as Marc Marquez. You're telling me that boy is not going to just reach inside of him and give everything on every second, every session, just to say, I'm here to whoop this old man's butt. I'm telling you, he's going to come to make such a statement, boy. It's going to be fun. And yeah, Tardossi, whoever's in that camp, hey, good luck, because them boys are going to hit heads. It's inevitable. Those are
absolutely.
Those are 2 big people in the garage with 2 massive heads, and there's only it's gonna happen, baby.
Yeah, it's like Penny Hardaway going against Michael Jordan or LeBron James.
Oh man, I'm excited.
Yeah. Very excited. Let's talk about this weekend coming in Assen. It's a favorite track for Pecco. But let's talk about Bez. What does Bez have to do this weekend? We all make mistakes, whether crashing or however it goes or whatever it is. What are your thoughts on what the game plan should be for Aprilia this weekend? We'll start Harrio.
I think Bez is going to be laser focused. He want to shake this off. What happened to him this past weekend. I think he's going to be laser focused, and I think him and Martino are going to. It's no issues this weekend. Nobody has a long lap penalty. Nobody's suspended. And I think they're just going to, just lay it all out and try to attack the Ducatis. I don't think it's going to be something similar to what happened this past weekend with Pecco, leading laps. I don't think it's going to be like that this weekend. those guys have something to prove this weekend because they've lost something. And I think they're going to, off straight from the free FP1, I think they're just going to go head to head and just say, hey, look, man, we got to do this together. And not saying they're going to be like, teaming up together. I just think they're just going to be focused in that paddock, and I think they're going to be 1 and 2 this weekend.
Okay. I can see that. What are your thoughts, Jordan?
It's a good track. It's a decent track. So I think it's going to be a good bike for the Aprilias. Also, obviously the Ducati is going to be there, but it should be a good weekend. I think Bez is going to be, like Hario said, laser focused. He definitely had multiple talking to behind doors. Valentino, the whole nine. Is his family. He comes from a very good family, so I'm sure he's been tore up this whole time about it, but going into the race weekend, I think that's just going to give him further ambition and then a little bit of time to refocus and get back in the game. So I think the Aprilias, him, Jorge is still chasing Bez to be strong. So I want to see Raul actually Fernandez, because his future is still a little bit. He is allowed. He was at the test, and he's allowed to test the 850cc, which earlier reports were that he wasn't going to be allowed to. So they may be retaining him, which I think they should. Because if you look at the Aprilia roster from the main team and the satellite team, they're bleeding people, and they need to retain at least some. You don't want to have 3 brand new riders and just have Bez's like single feedback, even though as good as it is, and as far as it's brought the bike, you want, at least I think Raul would be a good rider to retain and go forward. So hopefully this Assen track, we'll see him a little bit further up front. But qualifying is another thing where Ralph Fernandez, sometimes he's hit and miss. I'd like to see him a little bit more consistent.
Nice. I agree. I hope he does everything to save his seat to have a seat for next year in MotoGP, because I think he's done enough to deserve it. I always say that some of these guys, back in the day, riders used to get a couple of years in MotoGP before they were deemed not fit for MotoGP. And so I think he's proven that he should be in MotoGP. Let's segue into before we get out of here. Let's segue into MotoAmerica. It's going to be at the Ridge. Very excited to go to the Ridge. It's my first time going to the track. What are you expecting to see from these superbike riders? It's a pretty close title fight still. BMW, Ducati, Yamaha. Let's start with Hario, man. What are you expecting to see at the Ridge?
Superbike. I foresee like Bobby Fong. Bobby Fong was pretty successful last year at the Ridge, so I foresee him doing something similar to what he's capable of doing. And he's the person that I think is going to ultimately win the championship, even just because he's been through the testament of fire. And Sean Dillon Kelly, he might be able to pull something off, but he knows the track. Even though he was on the Suzuki last year, he's on the BMW, but he's pretty, he's learning the motorcycle pretty quickly. So, and he's been doing pretty good these past couple of weeks, these past couple of races. So I foresee him and Bobby Fong probably battling out this upcoming weekend at the Ridge.
Nice. We'll see. I'm not gonna say who I'm for yet. Jordan, man, what are your thoughts? Who are you expecting to run out front this weekend? I see what you have on, so I guess you're gonna say Yamaha.
Superbikes and MotoAmerica is probably the only place where I can rep Yamaha and be looked at and cheered along with. But I'd say like Bobby Fong and Schultz. It seem like they're on the money. I know Schultz is just a point behind Sean Dillon Kelly. And again, it's just pretty surprising to me that you don't see that new Ducati anywhere in the top 6 of that championship in the Superbike. I know it is a newer package, but it's just very surprising to me that every other series that you look at, anything Ducati is just smashing it. World Superbike, MotoGP, etc. But Yamahas in the States seem to fare well. It's still a good time for Yamaha here in the States, I guess.
Nice. All right, well, let's go to the super sport class, man, because it doesn't stop there. So, I mean, it's been like Ducati 1, 2, 3 for the most part. So, what does Yamaha have to do to get themselves in the mix? What does the 750 have to do to get itself in the mix? Suzuki, Tyler Scott was there, I think it was this past round. Don't hold me on which round it was. But he was there. Let's start with you, Harry-O. What does it in the super sport class? Yeah. I mean, this is where Kayla possibly could get a win.
Yeah. It might be Josh Hayes' time, man. It might be Josh Hayes might try to pull an old man trick this weekend and probably rip off something, maybe a podium. But I still say Bender. Mm-hmm. Bender is long as he don't get into any drama or anything with Josh Herring, then Bender is going to be another Bender win. Kayla might be able to do something. She's very familiar with the track, but it just depends on if she can get out front early. If she can't get out of the pack early and try to lead a couple of laps, she might not podium because this is a very technical track. And the elevation is different in Washington. And it's not like the southern tracks that they've been going on, and not like Wisconsin. Just that whole area. You're going to see, they're going to see the elevation is different, and those bikes go run different. So it's not going to be something that they're going to be able to pull off like they've been doing in the past. I think it's just going to be a very technical track, and she couldn't get on the podium this couple weekend.
Right. Jordan, what are your thoughts, man, on the super sport class?
I'd love to see Kayla, get the first win. She's, a hell of a rider, and she's been doing pretty good. But I think it's going to be between Bender and Herron. I didn't realize Bender had such a lead on Herron. So going into this weekend at technical track and the varying elevation and such, I think it's going to be a pretty good track for Bender, and that's going to be who I think is going to win the race. Him or Herron, I think they're going to have a nice little battle. But I'd say, I'd be going for Bender, rooting for the win.
Okay. All right. No doubt. That's what's up, man. Anything you guys want to talk about before we get out of here?
The only thing is, do you guys know about the testing update, right? And Mark had himself a little crash today.
Yeah, I saw that.
6th fastest, top rack, fourth fastest. Not too bad on the Pirelli tires. Bez was top spot. So that's nice to see. I know it's very, very early doors, but that knowledge, coming from Pirelli tires, I think is going to bode top rack well, obviously for next season. It's just Yamaha it needs to bring a bike. That 850 bike better be something crazy because it seems like they don't spend a dime on their 1000cc prototype. So. We shall see.
Benz was like a tenth off? It was like 1.54. I think.
I think they were like a second off the fastest, so that the prototypes were a lot faster than anticipated. So that's another thing I want to say that I'm happy about.
Right.
Being only a second off at this phase when they're nowhere near the final phase is that's a very good sign.
No doubt. How about yourself, Harry-O?
I'm just excited for the race weekend, man. I'm glad MotoAmerica is back this weekend, to see some, our home team racing this weekend. And I look forward to seeing what they're going to do, what MotoGP is going to do this upcoming weekend in Aston. I still stick to what I said about, I think it's going to be 1-2 Bez and Martin, or Martin and Bez. And I'm just ready for some good racing this weekend.
Nice. No doubt. I feel you there. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank Harry O with Two Wheels, One Chain, Jordan, Fast Rider. Peace.